Joining us now to try to break it down for us, because I'm really upset over this. That's why I started hashtag Two-Faced Faust to try to flush this out, is Pete Snyder, entrepreneur in Virginia, chairman of the Disruptor Fund, and also a former candidate for lieutenant governor in Virginia. Pete, great to have you.
Hey, Johnny, great to be with you.
Pete, I want to get to this. Northern Virginia race. I mean, look, we cover this stuff. I get a lot of nonsense that comes on our show. Sometimes it'll just roll off you. But I am outraged by this guy, Faust, going around, Pete, for months vilifying Barbara Comstock for her opposition to Medicaid expansion. And, Pete, one of the reasons that she was opposed to it was because she said it's a broken system. 30% of doctors don't take it. And so why would you expand something that doctors are rejecting? Now we find out that Faust's wife, Dr. Jerome, who has a practice in Northern Virginia, was also on the campaign trail blasting Comstock, and she doesn't even accept it in her own practice. I mean, how duplicitous is that?
Well, Johnny, you really put your finger on the pulse there. This is a classic case of liberal, do as I say, not as I do. And the fact that, usually in campaigns, you don't get the spouses involved. You never want to have your spouse in the line of fire. But in this case, John Faust thought that it'd be a great idea that he trumps his wife's medical credentials and has her out there, doing medical professionals for Faust and women for Faust, and has her in the white jacket. And what do you know? She opposes the very program that he's been out there pimping. It's everything that is wrong with liberalism today. And the fact of the matter is, if that program were working well, if there weren't waste, fraud, and abuse, every Tony high-end doctor's office in the Beltway would be taking it.
Exactly.
But it doesn't work. And Faust's wife doesn't want to deal with it. Eric Holder's wife doesn't want to deal with it. The General Assembly and the Republican leadership in the General Assembly really has it right. You can't expand Medicaid if we don't first examine what is going wrong. Where's the waste? Where's the fraud? Where's the abuse? I don't believe it deserves to be expansion in Virginia. Virginia has been leading the nation and holding the line on ever-expanding government. And we need to get to the bottom of the existing program that we have. We have a fiduciary responsibilities to our taxpayers to make sure the system that we have in place now is working well. And the Democrats don't want to see that at all. The Obama administration doesn't even want to go there. They just want to go full tilt. You're either with us or against us. Let's expand this thing. Let's have billions and billions more of your dollars sucked into a program that is really hurting Americans.
Not only that, Pete, but the fact of the matter is that what really riles me up is that Dr. Jerome Faust's wife went around. I mean, not only did he get her involved in a campaign, but she went around making statements basically saying Barbara Comstock doesn't really care about women caught in the coverage gap, that she doesn't care, and all these millions of people, and she doesn't accept it herself. I mean, if basically if Medicaid were expanded and you went to her practice and knocked on the door, literally they would shut the door in your face and turn you away. I mean, that's why I find this thing so outrageous. I'll tell you the other thing. Comstock's opponent, Pete, for House of Delegates last November, Kathleen Murphy, right? Remember her? She called for, during the campaign, she called for any doctor in Virginia that doesn't accept Medicaid to have their license to practice medicine in Virginia revoked. Remember that?
Well,
right?
John, I think you need to have a Murphy-Faust debate on
Absolutely.
The John Fredericks Show. I think that would make wonderful radio and inform the citizens of Virginia. John, this is just a classic case of liberal hypocrisy. And, if John Faust is pinning his hopes to be a congressman and to fill the big shoes of Frank Wolf on the expansion of Medicaid, he has another thing coming.
I tell you what,
he has a
absolutely.
history of raising taxes in that district. This is a district that is one of the most wealthy in America, that is keenly attuned to our economic climate and wanting to make sure that economic growth actually happens, and we don't have the horrendous policies of this Obama administration continuing to put a restrictor plate on the American economy. And we need to look at our energy policy. We need to rein in the size and scope of government, and we need to get leaders in there who actually are going to do things to improve our economy, like Ed Gillespie and Barbara Comstock. John, I was at two picnics yesterday, one in Arlington where Dave Foster, who you were talking about before, was there and really lighting it up. I mean, there's something magical happening in Arlington right now. Who would have thought that the center of the resistance really started in Arlington? Started in April with John Bstat. First time there wasn't a Democrat elected to the Arlington County Board. Now we have to get John reelected in November. He's been leading the charge on this silly trolley. Have you heard about this streetcar, this $500 million streetcar that Terry McAuliffe and the Democrats are trying to waste millions and millions of taxpayer dollars in Arlington? Have you heard anything about this, Johnny?
Not to the extent I should. Why don't you share that with our audience, Pete?
Oh, it's unbelievable. There was a great independent Republican candidate, John Bstat, ran for office, running for county board in April, special election, and hones in on this wasteful streetcar program. They're trying to spend $500 million to have a streetcar. And this is 2014, John. Streetcar. And
in Arlington.
Due to Democratic disgust, independents coming his way, and a solid Republican backing, John Bstat made history. It was the first time in decades that a Democrat was not elected to county council. So he really led the charge. Dave Foster's coming in, one of our best opportunities for a pickup in the House of Delegates in decades in Northern Virginia. He is a dynamite candidate, has worked tirelessly on education. And really, this streetcar issue is a big one in Northern Virginia. Democrats are sick and tired, and independents are sick and tired of having their tax dollars wasted. And you followed the biggest story last week was LeBron James coming home to Cleveland. Right. I mean, you couldn't escape it, right?
Right.
And it was not, you're a sports junkie, John. It was not only because one of the best players in a generation was coming home, but how many reports did you read about the economic impact, the billions of dollars that LeBron was going to be pouring back into Cleveland?
Billions.
I mean, it was really an economic development story as well.
That's correct.
And these NBA contracts, John, they're fat. I mean, they're tens of millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
These things are huge. This streetcar costs 14 times more than LeBron James' contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Unbelievable.
14 times more. It is going to have a fifth of the economic development impact. I mean, this stuff is ludicrous. James is going to carry more people on his back in Cleveland than are going to get on this silly streetcar in Arlington.
It's like light rail in Southeast Virginia. Looks good, feels good, but then when you get under the numbers, it's a complete debacle and a drain on taxpayer funds because it makes no sense. I want to go to the Senate race if I can. One are people telling me, look, Gillespie is 20 points plus down. Internals, this thing's over. You can mail it in. What say you?
Oh, I think that's preposterous. This thing hasn't even started. I mean, I haven't seen an ad for either guy. And if you told me that Ed Gillespie was 20 back or in the teens, I would say that's probably about right. I mean, this race hasn't even begun. The fact of the matter is Mark Warner, for as allegedly popular as people say he is or the media seems to believe he is, his reelect numbers are under 50% right now. which is just staggering, given that this is a guy who's supposed to be on the Mount Rushmore of Virginia politicians. His reelect numbers across the state are under 50%. You and I both know that due to all the bungling that's happening in Washington by the bear being on the loose by the Obama administration, this is looking to be a banner year for Republicans. I think this thing, it's certainly not going to be a top-tier Senate race in the country for quite a while. But I think this has all the makings to be a barn burner in the very end. And this is a type of race that Ed Gillespie is putting himself in place to nail that three-point shot at the buzzer at the end and win.
When the Cuccinelli campaign finally caught fire, Pete, in the final weeks, and all of us knew that he was about a week short of winning that thing. And I don't want your head to get too big, but one of the reasons he caught fire at the end is he finally started to listen to Pete Snyder, who said, that's true, who said, I mean, I just tell it like it is, who said, look, you gotta make this a referendum on Obamacare. He finally did that. He caught fire too little too late. Is there an issue like that Gillespie needs to get a hold of? What about immigration? What about the chaos we have right now with our sovereignty? Is that the type of an issue? Warner basically is backing Obama's $3.7 billion deal. Do you think that might be an issue to get people fired up?
Well, Johnny, first and foremost, correcting the record, Ken Cuccinelli keeps his own counsel. He's a good friend, and we were in the trenches together last year and take a bullet for the guy. But that was all Ken. Ken realized that there was really something going on with Obamacare and did everything he could to saddle up and ride that thing. So, but as it relates to any one issue, there are a ton of issues that are really, vexing independents, clearly Republicans, but also right now you're starting to see fissures in the Democratic base. People are looking past Barack Obama. So I wouldn't gamble on any one issue. Sure, I think that this crisis that's going on at our border and American sovereignty is going to play a role. But I think Ed has the right formula with focusing on the economy and focusing on being a positive alternative to Mark Warner and his economic growth plan. So I think he's doing all the right things right now. We'll see. There'll be 3 or 4 issues that bubble up between now and November. As you know, John, mid-July is a lifetime in politics. There are many months to go and ups and downs in this race. But so far, so good for Ed Gillespie. And if I were Mark Warner, I'd be lighting up the airwaves already. You can't find him out there on the campaign trail. He's, while Barack Obama may be the bear on the loose, Mark Warner is a bear hibernating right now. I think he wants to try to hibernate and wait this one out, and hopefully it doesn't catch up to him. But that's not going to be the case with Ed Gillespie.
You can only hibernate for so long, and then the facts will catch up with you. We're getting to the bottom of the hour, 8:30. We want to thank Pete Snyder for being with us. You want more information? Here's what you do. Go to disruptorfund.com, disruptorfund.com. Thank you, Pete.